Hey all, welcome back to the third video in my Spanish Study Abroad video guide, and today we're going to be talking about the school, family, and everyday lifestyle that you're going to get to experience when you go to Spain. First, we're going to kind of talk about the school aspect of Spain in general. So the main thing that I want to get started is saying that when you go to Spain, you're required to take 2 classes and for a total of 6 credits. So you're earning 6 credits in a span of a month, and that's very helpful if you're planning to earn your Spanish major or minor. So my first class was from 8 to 10 a.m., and you get 2 10-minute breaks in between a 50-minute period. So that's when that started, and that class was the language class. So we were kind of talking more about grammar and everything that goes along with that, and I learned so much. I had a very, very amazing teacher named Esther. I'll insert her picture now, and she really helped explain why you say what you say when you say it. So we focused mainly on the past tense verbs, and we went more in depth on why we use what we use. So that was the first class, and it really, really helped me just learn so much that I didn't know before and why we do what we do. The next class was from 10, so the other one ended at 9:50. The next class was at 10 until 11:50. So again, that's like 2 50-minute periods, just like we do here, with 10-minute breaks. However, this class was a culture class, and I had Dolores, which I'll put her picture in as well. And she really helped us understand and brought some life into the Spanish culture that we hadn't known before. So it's things like learning about art and food and dancing. It was so cool, and she was very open to talking about things about our culture as well. So it was just a very good class to engage and communicate in Spanish. I don't know if I mentioned, but all of these classes were strictly in Spanish. There was no English being used at all, which for me is something that helped me learn immensely, and it helped my comprehension and my speaking skills grow within, I would say, a week. Within a week, I felt comfortable speaking and kind of more hearing as well and comprehending what they were saying, which is a big one for me, and I know a lot of people that don't come from Spanish as their first language. I would like to mention also that there are many different levels of the Spanish courses that you can take. For example, there was A1, A2, B1, B2, and then the C levels. And A1 and A2 are pretty easy. It's kind of your introductory classes. They kind of take things slower, and then B1 and B2 get a little bit more difficult with a little bit more diving into why you do what you do, and then like past tense instead of just focusing on the present. And then the C level, if you're at that level, I heard from one of my friends, is more actually about learning in Spanish rather than learning Spanish. So one of my friends had a business class in Spanish, which is just really awesome. And yeah. Next part I wanted to focus on was the family lifestyle. So I stayed with the host family, as did all of the other people who went to Spain this past summer. And it was just so amazing to be fully immersed in a Spanish family. And so I'll give you a brief introduction. So we met the first day. They picked us up from this spot and took us back home. And I actually had the privilege of being with Tony, and I'll put a picture of her in here. She was the sweetest and most caring and understanding host mother I could potentially have ever gotten, and just to say that she made my experience 10 times better is an understatement. Something that I'm very, very grateful for, that I got her as a host mom. And I also chose to get a random roommate, so I got someone from Rice University. Obviously, being with your friends is nice, and you can do that as well, but being kind of put into a situation where I have to kind of do it myself, and I made a friend along the way and a connection that I'll never forget with my host mom. And then to kind of reiterate on that, what entails with your host family is that you're going to get your own private bedroom, And then I got a bathroom to share with my roommate, which is pretty normal. You're going to get a bathroom to share. And it was a very nice bathroom, very clean. My room was very clean. They clean your room once a week and they do your laundry once a week as well. So that was just something that was very nice and kind of took another stress off of me, was like not having to do my laundry, because I know that if you go and live in the dorms, you might have to, I think you do have to do your own laundry. Next, I'll kind of talk about the food situation. So for one meal of the day, you have to get your own food. So I chose to do that normally around lunchtime. So for breakfast, they would leave out breakfast for us, whether that was little granola bars, cereal, fruit. I always had something for breakfast, and it was always awesome just to be able to take it on the go as I was going to class. And then for lunch, like I said, I fend for myself, but we'll get into that in a little later part of the video. But then supper was around 9 p.m. It's very different there. So if you're thinking you're gonna eat at 6, you can talk to your host family, because mine was way more than open to do that for me. But I was like, you know what, I will let you do it how you do it, because it's your space and you're doing it for me. But every single day she made me supper, and it was definitely like the best food I have eaten in a long time. It was just so much different than what we have here, and just she put a lot of thought and effort, and whenever I liked something, it made her so happy. And then during supper time was kind of the time where I would talk about my day, ask her how her day was. She would talk about so many funny stories. I have so many things, just so many nice things to say about her. But also, I would just say always communicate with them, whether you're not going to be there for supper, whether you're going to be out on the night, and stuff like that. So just communicate with them, because it makes their lives easier, because they do worry about you and things like that. Next, we're going to dive in on what to do for like lunch when you don't have food or things like that. So there's 2 options. You can either go out to eat, or you can go to a grocery store. We'll start with the grocery store. You should be able to put some stuff in their fridge. For example, you could put like meat, yogurt, things like that. I bought chips and stuff just in case one day I didn't want to go out to eat, but I primarily chose to go out to eat. But if you're kind of on a tighter budget, going to the markets is a very good option, because it is pretty cheap and you can get a lot of stuff. But for me, I wanted to kind of have that full experience, so I went out to eat a lot. And honestly, there's no right place to go out to eat. TikTok, Safari, just like I did, will be your best friend, but also just honestly roaming the streets. It's something that you can see and you'll just be like, oh, this sounds good. But yeah, so that's one thing that I would say is just kind of fend for yourself, find what you do. And I don't have an exact list of all these places I went, but around the school and just around many different places will have a bunch of food. And one thing that you can totally look for is called the Menu del Dia. It should be a 2-plate menu, and it should be only around 11 to 12 euros for a good one. So, and also if you go and order like appetizers or tapas, they should be cheaper and should be around like 2 euros per plate, and you can share them with people as well. So those are kind of the things for the food aspect. But the nightlife, I would just say find a place that is kind of local. Don't go to places that look too Americanized. And go get some drinks there with some friends. There's this place that's called Cien Montaditos, and you can get dollar beers and drinks like that. But one thing that you need to try when you're in Spain is a Tinto de Verano. It's their drink and it's the red wine of the summer, but it's just so amazing. And yeah, that's kind of my guide for this video on the home and family and school life. Thank you so much for watching.